Hey everyone, I've got a review for you today that isn't normal for my channel. It's a piece of snowboarding gear. There's a piece of kit called the ShredLORD from FusionRide. Let's get into it. So I'm unboxing this. And what it is a suspension system from FusionRide. Oh look, they also gave me a free toque. That's cool. Awesome. All right, so I'm just going to unravel it right now, and you'll see here it is. If I could get it out. So here it is. It's a suspension system that you put underneath your back binding, and it's supposed to save you on the rotational chatter that you would get underneath your back foot when you're carving. So the reason I reached out to FusionRide is because there's nothing worse than being on a run and then suddenly being hit with a bunch of chatter, ice, catching an edge, what have you. This is supposed to give you more edge control, and it's also supposed to improve your riding. Now, it's not meant for parks, it's not meant for jibs, it's not meant for jumps, but when I do test this out, I will be going off a couple kickers and stuff just to see how it handles little things like that. Inside the bag are extra nuts and bolts, bushings, and the hardware that you would need to hook this up. And the instructions should be fairly simple, but one thing you do need to do, just to make sure, is follow the instructions clearly, because this obviously will affect your riding. And if you put this on incorrectly, there's definitely a risk of injury and whatnot. So be sure to actually do your due diligence and put this on properly. Okay, so I just took a look at the instructions, and the blue bushings are intended for somebody that's under 165 pounds, or if you prefer a softer ride. I weigh 180, so maybe I will stick with the harder bushings and see how that feels. But the nice thing is it is adjustable, so if you go out for a ride, these wouldn't be too hard to switch out. All you have are these nuts. So if you bring your a C-wrench with you, and you really want to try out the other bushings part with your day, you could just pack that with you and switch it out. All right, I'm gonna get this onto my snowboard and follow the instructions. Okay, so one thing to remember before you start this is you wanna make sure to take note of your dimensions, your angle on your bindings. So obviously you wanna keep it to the way that you normally ride. So I usually ride mine at a positive 10. I ride posi-posi. Make sure you note that down before you set up the ShredLORD. I've got the 4x4 system. So it's intended for 4x4, 2x4, and channels, but not for 3D. So keep that in mind if you're gonna look into this. If you've got a set of 3D bindings, you can't use it. Screwdriver. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Okay, time to reset this up. All right, so that was pretty simple. Literally all you have to do is put it underneath your binding, screw it in like you would a regular binding into the 4 holes, place your binding on top of the ShredLORD, make sure that it's centered. I don't want to screw around with the suspension system being off center, so I just put my 2 holes into the middle sections, and that's it. Now let's go take it outside and see what it's like riding.
All right, so we're at the almighty Whistler. It's a bluebird day, groomer conditions, no snow recently. I have the ShredLORD installed on my snowboard. Seems like the perfect day for it. Groomers, kind of icy, the day that you might be able to lose your edge. And yeah, we'll see if this actually gives me the control that they say that it will, and relieve that chatter that is notorious underneath your back foot. All right, here goes. Okay, the first couple runs were very icy. I don't blame the ShredLORD for me slipping out. It's just like really bad. The sun has come out over on Symphony Express, so I'm hitting it up there. The snow is softer on Harmony Ridge. So my first really good run on Harmony, I definitely felt a difference. There's less chatter. I felt like I had more control. There are icy patches that I just shredded through. One thing that's kind of weird to get used to is like the stomp pad area has moved over to the right for me because I'm goofy. So I have to stand a bit more narrow getting off the lift. One thing that you would think would happen is you'd think you'd feel elevated on your back foot, but because you're going downhill, your back is kind of already elevated anyway. So I don't feel any elevation. I feel more control, definitely dampened, and yeah, at speed it feels really good. So I'm going to take it down this nice, warmed up, hopefully softer run, and give it a whirl at speed now. All right, here goes. Okay, so final verdict. I would say this is a good piece of gear if you're not using it for park or dips, as said in the package, because I would believe that the suspension might give out under that much pressure. It's obviously not meant for switch, as it only belongs under your back foot, but I've definitely taken it on some cruddy conditions, some soft snow, some medium snow, ice. It didn't really help me with the ice, but at this point, with how icy it was, nothing will. Yeah, I definitely would recommend it. Thank you, FusionRide, for letting me try it out. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching the review. If you liked it, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Normally I do camera gear, but you know, snowboarding is part of my life, and I was more than happy to do this. All right, cheers.